Howdy, everyone. Nick Savage in for David Nuno here on a Friday for TexAgs Rewind presented by Yeti, and these are pretty sweet. You should go get you a little plastic water bottle like this. I didn't know they made these, but it's pretty sweet. On the Rewind today, we had, I guess we're going to bank on it with David Nuno. He called in and chatted with me for a little bit, so hear that from the Go Hour. Brandon Leone, former A&M football player, kind of previewed the fall, got his thoughts on A&M scheduling and whatnot. The baseball bunch, we wrapped up the Aggie baseball season, had Scott Clendon and Richard Zane in here, and Billy Liucci kind of talked a little bit of everything. Check it out. Just the NBA. I know you've been paying close attention to the finals with Denver up 2-1, game 4 tonight. Who do you think is going to take it tonight?
I think it's going to be Denver, but I know we probably have to do bank on it at some point. I'm banking on Jimmy Butler having another Jimmy Butler performance. By the way, I don't have the sponsor read in front of me, but brought to you by Vera Bank, authentic relationship-based banking built for real life. Go to verabank.com. Is that pretty close?
You forgot go see Joel Jackson and the team. Learn more at verabank.com.
Yeah, well,
so pretty close.
Yeah, I mean, everybody knows. Go see Joel. Call him right now. David Nuno says hello. So I'm banking on Jimmy Butler putting Miami back into the series. But the way Game 3 went to me is much more how I thought the series was going to go. I think Miami just doesn't have the firepower to beat a Denver Nuggets team that has been the best team in basketball, and they do it so effortlessly, and they've got, Joker gets most of the love, but there's a lot of players on that team that make them go. But I am banking on Jimmy Butler willing them to another victory in this series. I just don't know if it's going to be tonight. I just think Denver's got too much. But again, Miami's the kind of team that, they were in the 8th seed and they're in the NBA Finals. They were up 3-0 on Boston and gave that up. They're the kind of team that when their backs are against the wall, and that last performance, their backs were certainly against the wall, they find a way to come back. So I'm giving you a non-answer. I think Denver wins, but Miami will have another act somewhere in this series to make it interesting.
We'll go ahead and bank on it here just to close out our number one. Bank on it, presented by Vera Bank, authentic relationship-based banking built for real life. Go see Joel Jackson and the team. Learn more at verabank.com. I'll go 2 quick ones, and Dalton, if you have one, I might go to you after my 2 here. But first thing I'm going to bank on, at least 3 SEC teams in Omaha. Obviously, 2 are going to make it no matter what because there's 2 SEC matchups, LSU versus Kentucky and Florida, or pardon me. Oh, yeah, that's correct. Florida versus South Carolina. So those 2 teams at least are going to make it out of that super regional. But Bama taking on Wake Forest and Tennessee taking on Southern Miss. I go ahead and take my chances with Tennessee over Southern Miss there. So at least 3 teams from the SEC making it to Omaha. Wouldn't be surprised if there's 4. So let's go ahead and kind of flip it to what we're looking at for Aggie football in 2023. What position groups do you think will be most improved this next season?
I think offensive line is going to be the most improved, and realistically, I think the outcome of the season depends on their performance. And so, we got to stay healthy there. It seems like it was an encouraging spring. I mean, Jimbo's been positive about it. Everybody that's been talking about it's been positive about it. Doesn't mean anything until we start playing, but I think offensive line will be one. I think quarterback will honestly be more of a strength. I do believe Connor will having that extra year of experience, actual in-game experience this year, having a veteran like Max there, and so I think either way, he's got another year in the system. Connor has another year in the system and another year at the collegiate level. So quarterback's going to be good. It seems to me like receiver is going to actually be a really talented unit. So, which is encouraging because what this team needs to do more than anything is score points and stop the run. And so I'm hoping to see the O-line play, the quarterback play, and the receiver play be better. And those are the 3 that I expect to be the most improved.
I think Jim Schlossnagle summed it up really well in his post-game press conference on Monday. He said, "We didn't play bad. They just played better." Yep. And I think that's truly the story of that ball game. I thought that A&M, obviously, when you've got 2 chances to win 1 game, you're sitting pretty and you're thinking you're already making plans for a super regional. So it was obviously a letdown, right? But at the same time, the run this team took us on through the last 2 games in Starkville, and then through the SEC tournament all the way to the title game, and then to a regional final, to a Game 7. I thought that was extremely exciting and showed a lot of what the culture of this program is going to be and going to become. But man, they were up and down all year, and kind of like they're fighting with one arm tied behind their back with their pitching woes. And the fact that they were in that ball game until late, really a testament to Nathan Detmer, and he was really good in that game.
Yeah,
I was really proud to see him end his season on a high, but they just couldn't score the run. They couldn't get the big hit, and the better lineup, the better team ended up winning the game. And you just have to tip your cap to Stanford and hope they get the job done this weekend too.
Yeah,
I think that the last 2 weeks showed the promise and the frustration of this season. They had opportunities when they pitched well enough. They looked like a top 15 to, maybe a top 8 team in the country. When they didn't, they held it together with duct tape and baling wire. Mm-hmm. And sometimes, it stayed together and sometimes it didn't. Unfortunately, you didn't get starting pitching enough until Nathan Detmer in the regional play to punch it through. Even in the wins, you didn't get the starting pitching that you needed, and that led to stretching out what happened in the other games. You don't know what kind of Wansing you're going to have the next day if he doesn't have to come in and save the previous day's game. Mm-hmm. So that was a difficult position for him to be put in that the coaches had to go to. So that inconsistency in the pitching staff was a story of this team. It was not the offense can have doldrums, especially against frontline pitching. But I think that defensively and offensively they did enough, and the inconsistency in pitching wise was the story of this season.
Billy came out yesterday that Texas A&M and Director of Player Personnel Kevin Mashack part ways. I know you put a little post on the boards about that. Just the latest on that.
Yeah, I think my man Aggies today put that out. That happened last Friday, and they've been kind of on the hunt. I think I'll say I'm a little perplexed by the timing of it. Not perplexed, but obviously, I think that was something that should have been done a lot sooner, but for whatever reason was not. Not to say, Mashack, I think he came into a tough job, okay? His background wasn't really extensive as far as a recruiting director, recruiting coordinator. Mm-hmm. There's been a lot that's gone on up there since Marshall Malco left for Oregon, which the timing of that was pretty normal. I think he left the day after signing day. But I think the wheels were in motion prior to that, and there were a couple other people up there that were kind of planning to move with him first to Oklahoma. He's best friends with Dan Lanning from Georgia, and wherever Dan Lanning took a job, that was the only way A&M was going to lose Marshall. Mm-hmm. They've been best friends from day one, from when they got to Athens. And I mean, they'll be in, if they gotten married prior, they'd have been in each other's wedding. So it looked like he was going to get the OU job over Venables, and then he ended up at Oregon. And with him went a couple other guys, Tyler Dean being one of them. So, whoever was going to be the natural in-house replacement, they all left. Mm-hmm. And they should have. And they were kind of looking, they were trying to figure out what their next moves were going to be, because that's what happens in this profession. Say, okay, well, you burnt bridges there, so that's what happened. And the timing of that, it took a while, and I think what happened was A&M missed on a couple of targets, and then they went and hired Mashack on a recommendation of some people they trusted. But he didn't have an extensive background in terms of recruiting. It was more player personnel.
All right, that's going to do it for the Rewind here on a Friday. Like, comment, subscribe, follow us on all the social media. Follow the TexAgs Radio Twitter account. Subscribe on TexAgs, and we'll see you next week.